So I wanted to address this comment specifically because I too think it's very important to read the Bible. But even more importantly than reading the Bible is understanding the Bible and what it actually says. Because we have our own modern day interpretations and translations of words, and it completely distorts the actual message. For example, the word submit is two words in one. The first part is sub, and that means support. The second part is mit, and that means mission. So submit means supporting a mission. And that's why in my original video, I explained it is not just the wife's job to do whatever her husband says for whatever reason he decides, whenever he decides. That's not how it works. And that's why the Bible clearly breaks down, yes, in certain contexts, under the umbrella of Christ, the man leads, wife submits to her husband. But they are both mutually submitted to this mission, this vision. And that's what the Bible means when it says, husbands and wives, submit yourselves to one another out of reverence for Christ. It's not the man that just dictates and determines everything. In order to have biblical submission, you first have to have a biblical mission. In order to have a biblical mission, you have to have biblical vision. So under that umbrella, the husband leads and the wife submits to her husband, but they are both submitted to God, and they are submitted to one another based on the original mission that they have agreed on. Why this is important is if the husband completely goes outside of God's will, it's not the wife's job to just do whatever he says. She is his helpmate, and she is supposed to help him stay on track. You follow me? This is not a slave taskmaster relationship. The husband is not even called to treat his wife in that way. The husband is called to servant leadership. There are parts of you, desires, goals, dreams that you have to let go. Your pride has to die. You are married on an altar. What are altars used for? Sacrifice. Things die on altars. So you have to die to yourself, die to pride. You're called to servant leadership. So again, reading the Bible is great, but if we don't actually try and understand it, how it was originally written, it gets distorted. It takes one weak man who wants to control a woman, or catch this, wants to control an entire race of people. It takes one weak, distorted man to twist a message and mistranslate a single word. And then we live out these lies that don't in any way follow an example of Christ. Show me anywhere in the scriptures where Jesus, who is the ultimate servant leader, ever treated a woman like a slave. Husbands are called to love their wives as Christ loved the church, and he died for it. So show me a single example where Jesus didn't act with grace, love, and compassion towards his church. And I'm not talking about Pharisees and the Jewish leaders. That's not his church. So yes, please read the Bible, but even more so, try and understand what you're reading.